Hey YouTube, Kier Twig here, bringing you guys my updated Madolche deck profile for September 2017. I know a lot of you have been asking for an update to this deck, with link format being a thing, just seeing how the deck runs, and surprisingly with Mrs. Radiant, the deck actually has some good potential power to it. Just with how many Madolches you can get out, you can still get off some pretty cool combo plays. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. To start off, your standard 3 Madolche Madolche. The card is super good as a search, and with your Brilliant Fusion engine that you still run, also for the fact that the monsters are Earth, so you can make use of the additional normal summon to get out better link monsters to help with your extra deck plays. Madolche with her fact when she's normal summon to add a Madolche monster just helps with consistency, grabbing what you need, and so you always have resources. And all Madolches, in case you didn't know, have the effect of when they're destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you shuffle it back into the deck. So it's one thing you always have to play off of with these monsters. And also 3 Madolche Angeli. This card is your one where you tribute to special summon one from your deck. So you can basically go for your Hoot Cake, which then you can use the Angeli that you tributed in the graveyard to be the monster needed for the Hoot Cake cost for special summon. And then you'll have your Banish monster, which you can later grab her if you have Leviair on the field. It's the pretty standard play just for Field Swarm, but good because like the Madolche effect contradicts Hoot Cake since you need monsters in the graveyard and they'll always shuffle back with their own effects. But with that Angeli tribute effect, too good just for that fact that she'll always be your resource. And speaking of Hoot Cake, I run 3 of him as well. Angeli, Hoot Cake, and Madolche are definitely the 3 that make up a lot of your summon plays. With Hoot Cake, you banish a monster in your graveyard to special summon 1 Madolche from your deck to the field. So most of the time you'll either go for, let's say, Mew Fuel or something for the rank 3 play, but your big play is to grab Gelato, so you can special it and grab the effect of adding a Madolche spell or trap if you control a Madolche beast monster on the field already currently. It's too good because it just keeps adding on the searches. And also 2 Madolche Mewfeel. This card helps with the Swarm again for when it's basically a normal summon. You can special summon 1 Madolche monster from your hand. So let alone just going Madolche Mewfeel normal summon special as your cost of 2 right then and there for the Mrs. Radiant. So you can make your play there. Or you could even, if you have the Gem Knight Seraphonite play on the field, you can go normal summon, special, do an additional normal summon, switch, use the Mewfeel and the other monster you have on the field for the link summon of the Mrs. Radiant, putting it there, and then use Hoot Cake with the monsters you have in the graveyard for your Banish special play, and then go for your 2 extra deck monsters that you can now get out because of the Mrs. Radiant on the field. And also 2 Madolche Gelato. This card, I already discussed its effect a little bit already. When it is special summon, you can add 1 Madolche spell or trap from your deck to your hand. You must control a face-up beast-type Madolche monster to activate and resolve this effect. So the beast types would either be Fuel or Hoot Cake, both beast monsters, and both can easily get out Gelato, whether you banish to special with the Hoot Cake or you normal summon and special Gelato from your hand. Both of those effects will resolve and work out that way. And also 1 Madolche Pudding Cess, just the small tech that I think is good for her destruction effect. It helps when you don't have the speed to go into the Tiara Masu, which a lot of times shouldn't happen since you can reach that consistency quite well with Angeli and Gelato. But like I said, she's just in there for that one special tech that I like to run, especially with Seraphonite as well, for the overlay into Chocolate a la mode, which you can do. Very easy there, and then you'll get the Pudding Cess effect off as well with that. And also for non-Madolche monsters, 2 Ghost Ogre. This is good for the Brilliant Fusion play, which we'll get to in a sec, just to have an additional light monster to go off into. And 2 Effect Veiler, just for the hand traps. Now this is, I would say, budget play. If you have the Ash and Blossom, you can definitely run that card as well, because it'll stop a lot of plays. But if you want to run Veiler, it stops the monster plays just as well. And like I said, a little more budget for those type of players. And then onto the Brilliant Fusion engine. The 2 Gem Knight monsters, I would run a second Garnet if I had it, but don't. So Lapis is probably the next best thing if you want to run, or Tourmaline, whichever one you prefer, Sapphire, but all three can match the normal summon monster. Just Garnet, like I said, is the best to go for that power. And Trick Clown is your want-to-go-to monster for the Brilliant Fusion, since you'll get another monster on the field, which can be used later for resources. I just like having these two options as well for light to go for also. And then also one Glow Bulb. This is once again for Monster Field Swarm. If you can get out your Malaya of the Trees, use its effect to send Glow Up Bulb to the graveyard, then you can re-special summon this card, have Malaya and Glow Bulb, and if you don't have, you can use those two for your resources to go into Mrs. Radiant. Mostly because you're pretty locked out now with Link format being a thing. From your extra deck, you originally go for Malaya of the Trees, summon Glow Bulb, have another monster on the field, and then go into Beast. But since Malaya will already be taking up your extra monster zone, you can use her and the Glow Bulb now for your Mrs. Radiant play. Or if you already have the Mrs. Radiant, obviously, have one arrow point to what you would make Malaya, and then the additional arrow, if you have the monster to go for it, can make the Naturia Beast. And lastly, to finish up the monsters, one Maxi, just for consistency. Hand can be an issue at times if your plays don't get off, and this card can be that lifesaver that you need. And now moving on to spells, I run two Madolche Chateau. Just two of this card. It's searchable. It has the really good bounce effect when a Madolche monster would be destroyed. It returns to your hand instead of going back to your deck, and giving all of them the plus 500 effect as well. And when you activate it, it shuffles all the Madolche monsters in your graveyard back into your deck. So just remember that when you do this card. And also one Madolche ticket. I just run the one ticket. Two was really coming up dead draw. There was one game where I drew two Chateau, two ticket, and one Madolche monster, and the monster ended up being the Hoot Cake. Could not really do anything with those cards, so just one helps what you need. And most of the time, between the two, I found that a lot of people pop the Chateau with their staples most of the time instead of the ticket, which I found weird, but still, you know, what I saw in a lot of the plays. And also three Brilliant Fusion for the Gem Knight Seraphonite engine. It just really helps the deck out. Like I said, it's that bonus since they're Earth monsters, and this is an all-Earth deck that you can just go off of. Really, really good. And also one Regeki and one Dark Hole for your field clearing. You can get some pretty big numbers on the field, so clearing your opponent's monster board with these just help go for the kill. And then also three Mystical Space Typhoon. If you have the Cosmic Cyclones or the Twin Twisters, you can run those just as well. Twin Twisters helps because it can get the monsters for the Hoot Cake cost into the graveyard faster also. Just preference totally on the player there. And then for traps, I run one Madolche Palooza. It's searchable off of Messengelato, so you can swarm more monsters if you've collected them up with the Madolches in your hand, so really good there. And then for the generic traps, one Solemn Warning, one Torrential Tribute, one Compulsory Evacuation Device, and then the last two, one Bottomless Trap Hole, and teching one Time Space Trap Hole just for that tech against some extra deck monsters. If you have the D-Barriers and you wanted to run those instead, you could take out the Time Space and the Compulsory Evacuation Device for two main deck Dimensional Barriers. Probably best in my opinion if you wanted to just go for the two. And then for the extra deck, I run two Madolche Queen, Tiara Masu. This is your go-to Exceed monster when you can make her. It's a detach one, shuffle up to two Madolche cards from your graveyard into the deck, and then shuffle cards your opponent controls up to the number of Madolches returned. This effect also does not target, so it's really good there for those pesky card effects that can get around that effect. Just all around powerful, and you can even bump her up with the Chateau, put her at 27 for real go to the kill kind of card. And also one Chocolate a la Mode. You can overlay on Tiara Masu with her as well, but the big play to get off her Pudding Cess effect is to have Pudding Cess on the field and Seraphonite to overlay those two into her. And it doesn't take up your extra monster zone since you'll be using the Seraphonite and the Pudding Cess to go into her, so you'll stay on your one extra deck monster key play. And also for the generics, the one Dark Rebellion, the one Castell, one Fairy King Alverditch, which I found really helps just for the Earth concept once again. And then for the rank 3s, one Invoker, just for that swarm again. The fact that all these are Earth works out so well. You can grab Messengelato and you can have your two Earths there. Just easy grabs for monsters. The same goes for Malaya. and Levier as well, with the special summon from the deck and the banish zone. Too good. And then also the one Seraphonite, I would run two if I had it, but I can obviously show you in a sec what to take out for this card for the normal summon plays. But for the Link monsters, 2 Mrs. Radiant. It has the recycle ability as well for Earth monsters, which if you send a Madolche for this, you can let her then re-add it back, since it won't get shuffled back in since it wasn't destroyed. It was sent to make this monster, so recycling Madolches is something good to go off of. Plus the 2 arrows just help for your extra deck plays. It's really good. I can't wait to see what other basic, generic kind of Mrs. Radiant and Starboy monsters we get for like the Fire and Wind also later on. And then also 1 Decode Talker, 1 Proxy Dragon, and 1 Firewall Dragon. If you wanted to put in the second Seraphonite, I'd probably recommend taking one of these 3 out. Most likely Proxy Dragon, since just, like I said, this is better in my opinion. And you'll have key monster card plays to go for bigger Link plays. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.